Hello everyone, it's Morbid here, PK, and just as I promised at the end of last season, I was hoping to do some sort of video reviews of our games, so I've no idea how this is going to turn out. I'm doing this first thing on a Saturday morning, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm just going to basically, I guess, commentate throughout the games and just give some kind of feedback as well. There might be some silences if there's not much going on, but as much as possible I'll try and progress through it. Okay, there's one highlight I just want to go through here. So this is great build-up play. Now at this point there's nothing on, but obviously you've ran a little bit more, and then if you just have a look at this guy right here, so he's making a run into about this position here. So if I play that again, now just as you've released that ball, you can see your man there is in, as we say in Scotland, hunnels of space. And I mean, you could also pass to this player here. He's opening, he's in space, so but he would probably get closed down pretty quickly from the players here. So that would be an option. This player though is, I mean, he's out of the question really, because he's getting marked by two big players there, and obviously this player coming back as well. So really what you want to be doing is a big cross, high cross over to the man that's running into here, and you can see, you know, either player really, either him earlier or this player here, you know, to smash it in, but this player is out of the question. So just be aware of sort of passing and things like that as well. Okay, now there's just another highlight I want to go through here. So at the moment it's looking fine. I think we can just start to see Andy here just making his way a bit more central. Hayden is in a absolutely fine position at the moment, but now you start to slowly see the problem with Hayden here, Andy here. There's literally nobody here. For example, if Andy is standing right here, once it passes to Hayden, Andy would have all of this space to run into. So I'll just play it a little bit more and you'll see here. Yeah, so there we go. You see the problem is that it's locked onto Andy when I've passed it in that direction, and now you have Hayden and Andy literally right beside each other. For Hayden, this is a fine position to be in because I'm slightly further back anyway. But as I said, Andy should really be keeping out wide, especially in this formation, so that, you know, when Hayden received it there, Andy could literally just be darting forward or be here, and if Andy was here, he can just through ball the striker who's hanging on the last defender there just to run through the channel. So this potentially could have been a goal scoring opportunity. So just be aware of your positioning. I do understand this is, you know, the first couple of minutes into the first game, but it's just a reminder for all players as well. Just going to play this video here again. So brilliantly won the ball. That was great positioning there, and you can see your man open here, straight away passing it, brilliant turn, and it's in. So, you know, that's just an example of basically reading the game effectively. So you can see here, what was it? two. So you've obviously got two players there, or this player that you could pass to, and it's just anticipating it at the right moment. Anticipating it at the right moment. And he's on it. Brilliant. It's another example here. So nice counter attack, good ball through. Now at this point, as you can see, there is nothing on. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 players, 4 defenders running back, and then you've got another 2 sort of midfielders running back there as well. Everyone's getting marked. Nobody's in really a lot of space. The only potential player that I can see from this point is probably this player. He's in the most amount of space at the moment, and I think that's Andy. He will probably get marked anyway because there's this player here. It's obviously keeping an eye what's going on. We'll just play it a little bit more. Yeah, so I mean, at this point here, there's not really any need to pass it, especially a through ball. It would really be at this point to cut it back. And you can see this player right here has stopped his run and held his position because he can see that there's no point in just everyone darting forward. So yeah, good awareness from this player here. I'm not too sure who that is, sorry. To just hold his position. So at this point it would really be a cut back, pass to this player, and then maybe feed one of these strikers through if they're in space. So good position to win the ball. Andy's in a great position as well to get it. Nice first time pass. Now at this point, really what should be happening is before you even receive the ball, you should be looking at this player right here that's making a run forward, and you could first time pass it with an L1 triangle just to feed him through. But let's see what happens here. Now there's the touch there first of all, so it's still on at this point with potentially an L1 triangle or something like that, the player running. But no, it's quite a heavy touch, so I'm not too sure why there was such a heavy touch on the pro. But yeah, at the point obviously that the ball was passed now, the defender is right there, so it's an L1 triangle. There isn't enough space to do that because the player is right here, so I can see what you're trying to do, but I think it was just a heavy touch was the downfall of it all. This is a great bit of play here from the goal kick, feeding the striker through, and that's a brilliant cut back there as well because you could see nothing else was on. At this point as well, I mean, Chris could potentially L1 triangle or something Andy here, but that's absolutely fine. I think he decides to cut it back a little bit. Now at this point, this player is running centrally, which isn't really needed when there's a player here, there's a player there, and there's a player there. So really what should be happening is that this player should have kept the width, because there's no really need to this player to go central, and as a result of this player's positioning, Chris is then left with not really many options, and he's already turned to face this way. And if he turns back the other way to pass it to this player, you've got this guy here that's obviously closing down as well. So in this instance, you know, still Chris could have maybe passed it back to a defender or something like that, but that is quite dangerous when you look at the minimap here as well. So yeah, it's just be mindful of positioning, and for the wide players to just try and keep the width, because we do have two strikers and a cam, and you know, the strikers. And I was just showing you what happens as a result of the positioning. So you can see when they win the ball back, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players within very close proximity to each other. And I think this is where we started to go downhill a bit with what we were doing compared to at the start of the game. Because this was the first league game and it finished 2-1. So we can already see the warning signs of how we started to change our play for some reason in this first game. It's another highlight here to Chris. Chris can see the run. 2 strikers just on the last man there, last defender. And that is a cracking ball. Now at this point, there is nothing on. This player's getting marked, this player's nowhere near. So really, the only thing to do, especially from this angle, is to shoot an R1 circle or something just to curve it in. There's all this space here. But unfortunately, I don't know why it was a pass, but I don't know if it was a mispressed button or something like that. But really at that point, it's just a case of shooting, because nothing else is on. I do understand, obviously, you want to pass it about and make an assist and things like that, but in those instances, just be greedy and just go for it. If you miss and the keeper makes an amazing save, then, you know, that's fine. But in those instances, it's really just burying that. Yeah, with that one, Aiden, just need to be a bit careful in terms of how many touches that you're taking sometimes, and the players that are around you. So brilliant to win the ball back, but at this point, there's not really any need to be running or pressing R2, especially when you press R2. As you know, if the ball control stat isn't that great, or dribbling stat, the ball is further away from you than, say, like a cam or a striker, for example. So at this point, you've got a player here that's pretty much asking for it. You've got a striker here as well, who is free, or you've even got a through ball to this player right here, as you can see on the minimap. So, I mean, even potentially you could through this player as well, but I would probably say that this player is probably the right call for this player, just to feed it through. You can see here, they make a tackle. Yes, we do still have the ball, but then another tackle goes in, and it just, you know, there's a potential opportunity on goal, just if we release the ball a bit sooner in instances. Now that there is exactly how the centre backs should be playing. It's just not diving into anything, just, you know, holding a position and just strafing the strikers. As you can see here, you know, this player is free. Player. Yeah, this defender should really be getting just a little bit tighter to this player just in case a ball gets played. This player's getting marked absolutely fine. I think that's Rob that's there, but just be mindful of getting a little bit tighter to the man, just because if this player here sent a through ball through, that could have been a goal scoring opportunity. But luckily with Adam here, he's kind of narrowed the space in. Narrowed the space down. And as a result of winning the ball back there, there's a counter attack. Pass it over to Andy, using loads of space. Cuts back in, which is good. At this point though, Hayden should really be passing to this player right here, who is our Cam. Because, well, he's at acres of space, and then he can feed the striker through for this player that's running here. So yeah, in this instance, you know, it's all very well doing the 1-2s, but in a counter-attacking opportunity like this, we really need to just get the ball to the Cam, especially if he's in that much space, and let him feed the strikers and whoever else is running. So just see what happens as a result of this. Yeah. So again, that's potentially a goal scoring opportunity there, and what could have been a pretty good counter attack. So it's just keeping a lookout for the players, how much space that they're in. That was a good save there. You can see here, I mean, by no means am I perfect, but I'm not rushing anything because this player's getting marked. I'm waiting for everyone else to get into the positions. What I'm actually waiting for here is for Andy just to stick out wide there, so I have an outlet, because I think it's too dangerous to be playing it about. We've got quite a few players here that can obviously, well, punish me if I make a bad pass. So yeah, there's no harm in just being a bit patient, waiting for players to get back into their positions. So you can see here, there's no pressure on me, there's no rush, and now Andy is in position there on the right hand side. So I just lob him a ball over there because he's in acres of space, and I could see that also from my minimap. So I made sure to check my minimap before I fed him the ball. So yeah, he's got plenty of time here to make the next pass. If he wants to, he can feed the striker here, send a through ball to him. I mean, there is a defender running with him as well, so it's maybe not the best call in this instance, and he can't really pass to this striker because he's still trying to control the ball, obviously. So in this case, probably just to Hayden would be a good option. Or if he's really ambitious, he can obviously feed an L1 triangle or something over to this player, over to the left mid who's making a run. Yeah, so he's Andy's went for the ambitious effort of the L1 triangle, and I think because the ball was still bouncing a bit as well, it wasn't fully controlled as to why it's ended up like that. But yeah, just a short pass to Hayden, I think. Just the simple option in that instance would have been good. For example, if this defender wasn't there, then yes, I think the L1 triangle would have been a good call to send the player through. But an L1 triangle obviously takes a long time because it's a high ball, and that defender would probably have caught up anyway. Again, that's great positioning there to win the ball back. He was tight to his man and got the reward out of it, win the ball back. And then also you can see he can't really turn to face this way because he's getting marked. So I mean, he could pass to me. I'm open in space there, and then I can obviously pass it to the cam, or I've got plenty of options. Sorry, I only get 10-minute recordings here, so it just cuts out. So yeah, let's just play this a bit more. So yeah, left mid's obviously passed back to the defender. That's potentially dangerous, but I think he's been let off in this instance. But a better pass, as I said, would have been to myself, or at this point now, obviously Chris is in space as well. But I think the pass to me probably would have been the better option. But it's fine. It's going to Adam anyway. But you know, as a result of that, Adam has hoofed it up, and we have managed to win the ball back. But chances of that happening, I think, is lower than what the alternative would have been. Yeah, just need to be careful with those free kicks because we could have easily got punished there. You know, just be patient with the free kicks. Wait for everyone to settle in a bit. And I'm not too sure what that was, if it was meant to be an X pass or not. But yeah, if in any doubt, like that, I mean, we have four players pretty much running. I mean, there is 3 of us back here, but it just creates an unnecessary counter attack. And one high ball like that. I mean, fair enough. There is 3 of us literally clumping on that striker, which is good. We've reacted well. But yeah, if in any doubt with the free kicks, you know, just cross it into like far post or something like that for somebody to header it back in. I know we're 2-0 up, but it's one thing like that that could, you know, potentially cost us a goal, and then was obviously what happened later in the game, as we conceded a goal as well. So it's those moments that, you know, could potentially have turned a win into a draw. That's great pressure there to win the ball back, and you can see obviously he doesn't really have many options. So at this point we're obviously waiting for a wide player here or somebody to take up this space here. Which is what happens. Of a play there. So that's good, patient play. Yeah, now at this point, because the left mid is here, the cam in this instance should really just be sitting out here just as an outlet, just in case obviously there's no other option. Because the cam has gone more central here, he's getting closed down really quickly. Yeah, and they win the ball back as a result. So I think it's just being mindful of, you know, it's fine for players to rotate positions like you see here. there really should be an outlet out wide for the striker here, because there's so much space there. And just simple things like positioning, or if one player tucks in and you see that there's a space out wide, just fill that space and work as a team to transition together. It doesn't mean that because somebody is a left mid, you must always be on the left mid. In this instance here, yes, ideally he should be on the left, but if you see that a wide player has came more central, then either just let them know in the game or just transition them out wide. If it keeps happening, then obviously say something in regards to that. But especially when attacking, it's about being fluid in terms of what we're doing so that the opposition team isn't aware of everything that we're going to do, and we can try and be a bit more unpredictable as well. Okay, I'm just going to let this play on actually. So you can see I was anticipating that he was going to pass to the striker there, so I just cut the space out. Now I'm getting closed in pretty quickly, so that's why I've passed to the centre back here. And in those instances, what I like to do is an L1X, because as you can see, as soon as I pass the ball, my pro has already started running again. So that's sometimes a good thing to do, just so, because I know that if I do an L1X, it makes my player run forward for him to transition over to here, and again it gives an outlet for the centre back to pass to, or obviously the left mid as well. So sometimes L1X is a good option. I tend to do that quite a bit, and you can already see there my player is in front of the three players, and if needed, Adam can pass to me if, for example, the white player wasn't there. So again, I'm just being patient. I could, switch it over, but we have quite a lot of players here on the left-hand side that we can build something up. Now, I was going to pass to Chris at this point, but I could see that the left mid got back up pretty quickly, and because the left mid was down, I knew that this player here was going to move up because he thought that the wide player isn't a threat. So again, it's just I've been a bit patient, waited for the left mid to make a run, make some space, and now I can see, he is open and he has tons of space to run through here. So sometimes just a little bit of patience can create the space with players making the movement. And we can see here, first time pass, perfect to the cam. And then you can see here as well, the striker making the run. Probably a first time triangle would have been ideal, but we'll see what happens here. It's been a heavy touch. I think a first time triangle would have been good in that instance, and it's just been too heavy a touch, and by the time the pass goes in, there's just not enough space left here. So that probably should have been a goal from that build up. So that is my bad there. I probably shouldn't have passed to this player. I didn't check my minimap properly, because the better pass would have been to Andy here, because there's a cam and a striker right here on this side, so there's more players on this side of the pitch that something can be built up, and the left striker is sort of hanging on the last man, so there's nobody that's dropped deep. Yes, Hayden is there, but you'll see that space quickly reduces oh no, in fact I changed my mind because I think that was a triangle pass that was given rather than an X pass, which is why it's went further forward more. At least I'm fairly certain that was a triangle pass. If it was an X pass, then it probably would have went to Hayden and he would have had enough time. But yes, in that instance, I should have passed to Andy, and then build it up from the sort of right hand side. Just another thing to note as well, obviously, about the goal that we conceded. I just want to sort of analyse that just a little bit, not putting blame into anyone, but we'll just forward it back here so we can see what happens. So I'm checking the minimap here. Now at this point there is quite a bit gap between the right centre back and the centre back. Ideally we want the centre backs to be a bit tighter together. Now yes, I understand there is an attacking player right here, but at the moment they are not a threat. If I forward it just a little bit. So yeah, at this point what should be happening is Andy, well, I think Andy's still come back from position from the attack, but still not really much danger. I can understand what Rob's trying to do here, which is sticking to the man, but that striker is going to have better movement than a centre back any day. So in this instance I think Rob should just tuck in a little bit, just to get closer to Adam there as well. Still be mindful of the wide player, but just not get dragged out too much, because we have three centre backs. We don't have like left back, right back type of thing, and obviously Andy's still transitioning back from being further up there. So usually Andy would obviously be here to close that ball down. It's just the way that they have counter attacked. And then yeah, so the ball gets released here. Again, Rob's movement seems to be moving this way, but as I said, I think just a little bit earlier Rob should be turning his pro to be going inside to get closer to Adam. Yeah, and unfortunately as a result it does feed the ball through to the attacker, who changes his body and his positioning quite quickly and is then through on goal. And yeah, I mean, it's a good finish. There's nothing the keeper could have done in regards to that, but this is the 80th minute now, and as I said, there's been quite a few opportunities before that could have been goal scoring opportunities, and we really should have been roughly about 4-0 up at this point anyway. But so yeah, we've made life a bit difficult for ourselves with the first game here. It's good pressure. Now I usually say not to chip it, but in this instance I am getting pressured by 3 players, and if I pass to the centre back, he's then going to be in pressure, and then my body's turned as well. In order to get it over this player, obviously I had to chip it over, because I can check my mini-map and the left mid is in plenty of space with that distance that, you know, he should have time to control it still, and it releases the pressure on the centre backs, which is why I've just did a wee chip over, and it lets everyone else get back in position. That's good build up. It's just a bit unlucky there, the centre back was covering, but it's the right idea. So I think it was only really at this point, after they had scored their goal, that we seemed to get our focus back and took it a bit more seriously, which shouldn't be the case. We should be, you know, if we're 2-0 up, we should be sticking with that same standard, not getting complacent. Because as you could see from the analysis that I did, pretty much after the second goal that we scored, you know, things fell apart slightly. And this is good here, so we win the ball back. It's nice and patient. That's it, just taking our time with it, building it up. That's a lovely a pass and run there. I see him, he's open, he's in plenty of space. Because there seems to be a cluster of everyone marking the cam, so plenty of space for him to run onto there. And then, well, he's obviously getting closed down by the centre back. There's not much on, so he's done the right thing. He's just cut it back to me. Plenty of space, and now all of our players are running back. I mean, there's 4 of our players in a clump there who are in loads of space. Again, I think Andy should be pulling out just a little bit more, kind of sitting on the edge of the box round about here, and that just creates, well, either would pull a defender out to then mark him, or it then gives an outlet if I pass it to, you know, Hayden or Chris. It just creates another bit of space that, you know, we can create something there as well. But yeah, obviously pass it to Hayden. Then that's good. Andy has pulled out wide, so exactly what I was just saying before there. Andy's pulled out wide as an option, which is brilliant. But now we're in a case of this player's getting marked. This player here could potentially pass the ball to, but really in this case there's not a lot on. Yeah, and I think it's just a bit too much time that Andy takes, I think, and probably the better option would have just been back to Hayden and waiting for a player's positioning to get back to normal. But overall, that was a brilliant build up there, and as I said, it's only really after they scored the first goals when we seemed to try again, and we were at least trying to do the right things. Fair enough, some things didn't work out as well with that build up, but at least we did sort of kick ourselves up a gear again. Now, this is obviously how dangerous it is on a counter attack now, pretty much the last play of the game. You know, this is fine at the moment, there's nothing, but then a ball goes in, and really I should be marking this spot here, but for some reason it doesn't lock me on at all. But I should have had better positioning. There's no need for me to be there. I should be basically at the penalty spot here, ready for to head it away if a cross comes in. So that was bad positioning from me. And it's a brilliant save to prevent them from getting a goal, really. This player is free as well. We're kind of still trying to sort ourselves out. Really at this point though, what I'm looking for is the left mid to be charging back, especially the last play of the game. I really would be wanting the left mid to be charging back to, you know, potentially you mark this player. If you can't get to this play here, then at the very least to be charging and doing everything possible to mark this player, so that if we have to come out and close this player down, this player's getting marked. So yeah, it's especially when it's at a 2-1 in the 91st minute, I would be looking for everyone, including the strikers really to be to be coming back and closing down. Now, he's obviously going for the shot there, but this could have ended up far worse if he'd pulled it back to this player and then he passed it to him. You know, that could have easily been a goal. Again, it's another brilliant save. And eventually now he passes it. And eventually now he passes it back. But at this point now, we do have enough players that are back to us to win the ball. And I'm not doing anything crazy here because I know that we've all just came back. So I'm just taking it easy, waiting for players to make their run, get in their positions. And that's the game. So yeah, in summary, I think we've made life difficult for ourselves. We've played well. You know, the sort of first 20 minutes of the game, in terms of FIFA time that is. But I think after we got 2-0 up, we just got a bit complacent and we started to change the way that we played. And I think this was just a warning sign, which is why I wanted to analyse this game in particular. I don't want to go through the whole of the third game and analyse that, but I think this first game was a good one to do, just because I could see some of the danger signs, I think, and what we need to do going forward. This isn't any criticism for individuals or having a go at anyone. It's just trying to look at the way that we play and things that we could maybe do obviously going forward. So don't take it to heart. It's just some analysis. I've obviously had a go at myself as well with my positioning and some occasions and things as well. So yeah, don't take it to heart, please. It's just a way for us all to improve as a team. You know, if that's defensively or build up, closing down, or whatever it may be. I'll be writing up an analysis as well, just of player positions in terms of what the roles should be, and I'll provide just a brief text summary as well for each player, as I've done before. Well, hopefully this has kind of helped, and my squiggly lines that have been drawn has been somewhat helpful as well. But it will get better the more I do it. I don't think it will be as long as this. I'll try and make it more concise, but yeah, hopefully you get a sort of idea of, you know, sort of where I'm coming from and what I'm looking at when just analysing games and things like that as well. So yeah, thanks very much.